This is Christine Brown, and while I have to listen to this podcast as my motherly duty, you have the choice not to. My sons sometimes say some naughty things when they're trying to be funny, but really, they're just being stupid. If you still want to listen, go right ahead. I am not your mother.
Oh, welcome back. A long welcome back to the Patriots Dynasty podcast. We are the Brown brothers, and we're going back and rewatching every game of the Dynasty era. With me today, not both brothers. Greg is actually preparing to go to the current Buffalo game. Him and his friends are stuffing themselves in an RV and driving up to Buffalo, which sounds great, but in reality doesn't smell very good. But with me, we have Steve Brown, the good brother, the better brother.
The best brother.
The better brother.
No, the best brother.
I'm the best brother.
Well, if I'm the better brother, I'm automatically the best brother, unless you have a brother I don't know about. Andy.
That's fair. I mean, we might. We've been told we look like the mailman, so there might be other brothers out there that we don't know about. But in kind of this actually works out really well. We've been gone for a few weeks because shit's just been crazy.
Thanksgiving, Patriots game in Carolina.
Yeah, and I am redoing a kitchen, so things are just a hot mess right now. So, but everything's kind of worked out for the best because this, in the current time, we are, what's the date today? December 2nd, 2021. We are preparing ourselves for, I'd say, the first real Patriots-Bills game that's meant anything in a while. Wouldn't you say?
Sure.
I mean, this is like the biggest deal.
Although I feel like Bills fans always build it up more than it actually is.
Well, yeah, I'm talking from a Pats fan's perspective here. Like this is the Bills Super Bowl every year, especially because it's in Buffalo.
Right. And they always get their ass kicked.
Yes, I was actually going back and watching everything, and I think the Patriots in like all the games against the Bills in Buffalo. Do you want to guess what their record is? I think it's 20 games. Yeah, 20 games. Do you want to guess what their record is in Buffalo?
18-2, 18-3, 17-3.
You fucking nailed it. 18-2. Yeah. Technically 18-3 if you count the Cam Newton game last year. So you can call it 18-3, but yeah. In the Belichick Brady era, 18-2.
That
includes
fumbled in the red zone, right? That was at Buffalo.
Yes, yep, that was the one where they were driving for the game-winning touchdown. So 18-2.5. Because fuck the Bills fans.
Yeah, it's Cam Newton. He sucks now. You see him? It's terrible.
Yeah. So the fact that the Patriots got as much as they did out of him is a small miracle. I'm still a big fan of Cam Newton.
Yes, I love Cam, but he's just not good anymore.
Yeah, he's just not that. Well, I mean, you can't really judge him this year because like you can't just throw a starting quarterback in 2 weeks after you pick him up and expect him to like do anything. But yeah, he's definitely not the MVP caliber that he used to be.
Good thing Greg isn't here. He would be taking us on a whole different trajectory of this podcast by arguing about how terrible Cam is or something like that.
Oh, undoubtedly, yeah.
Glad we're aligned, Andy. Belichick's the best. He's an awesome coach who really got the most out of Cam.
Right, exactly. And almost beat a really good Buffalo Bills team for the first time in 2 centuries.
Yeah. But from the Bills' perspective, you're right. This is probably the biggest Patriots at Bills game in a lot of their lifetimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, at least that they can remember. Because they probably had bigger games. Like the AC Championship game last year was like a bigger game than this. But it means a lot to them, we'll say.
I've been keeping an eye on Bill's social media, and half of them are very confident that the dynasty is over and the Bills are going to stomp the life out of the Patriots this week, and the Patriots are pretenders. And the other half are very nervous. I saw a meme today of, the one where Mo is chucking on The Simpsons. Mo, the bartender, is chucking who's the fat drunk out of the bar?
Barney.
Yeah, Barney. He's chucking him out of the bar, and then like all of the next frame you see Barney in the background.
Yeah.
And so it was that, but Mo was the Buffalo Bills last year and the Buffalo Bills this year. And Barney's like creeping back into it. It's like, yeah, that's how they feel. They're like, oh, this feels familiar. If this game goes wrong, your shit's gonna fall
Can't
apart.
blame them, dude. I mean, like you said, it's been 18-2. They've been let down a lot. There've been some good games.
So here's a pop quiz for you. Do you remember those two games, those two losses?
One was the Wes Welker game where he has a ton of yards and they still lose, which I don't remember at all, but I think we're going to watch soon.
Yeah, 2011, where Brady threw 4 touchdowns and also 4 interceptions.
And the other one was that the Week 17 game where Brady sat the second half. That one was at home.
Nope. No, this was a very memorable one. This is one that I think Bills fans still talk about to this day. We've done it on this podcast.
The only other memorable Bills moment I can remember is when they threw the dildo on the field, but I'm pretty sure they still lost that game.
You know they did. No, this is the opening of 2003.
Oh, yes.
The Lawyer Malloy game. Yeah. And the Sam Adams pick six. So
I will go on record because this will come out after the game, right?
Yeah, this will come out on Tuesday.
That the Patriots won't lose 31-0.
Okay. You think the Patriots will win?
Not 31-0.
I'm going to go on record. I think the Patriots will win this game. I think it'll be real fucking close. I think it's going to be a dogfight, but I think they pull it out.
I just don't think the Bills are mentally over it, you know?
No.
One win against Cam Newton when he fumbles in the red zone doesn't mean you're over that hump.
Yeah. Although then they beat the Pants off the second stringers at the end of 2020 as well, which I didn't even watch. I knew it was going to be that. So, but where are we? We are 2004.
Before we move on,
that
feeling we just said, they were like, wow, no, it doesn't really count. That's how Bills feel about all those 18s. Because there's a lot of them like this game where they just beat the pants off the Bills and it wasn't even competitive.
Oh yeah. No, the what was it? Average margin of victory was 28-15, so almost 2 touchdowns.
And this one was 29-6.
Yes. Yeah. So we're talking. This is a home game, but this is 2004.
Is the better is because they only scored them on a punt return touchdown and then missed the extra point.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. That was my favorite. But yes, in the Brady Belichick era, the Patriots 35-5, and their average score of the games was 27-15. So they generally beat the Bills by 2 touchdowns.
On average. Stats are on patsdynasty.com.
Correct. Yes. Nice job, Steve Brown. Look at you.
You got to plug your own work, Andy.
Always the sales
your hype guy all the time.
I need that. I'm not a hype guy. I'm a developer, man. I just build it.
You need a lot of help.
Oh, yes. In a lot of things.
Yeah. I'm just doing my little part.
Appreciate it. One thing I don't need help in is rewatching these games, because this was just the perfect game for it, because we're back in 2004, week 10. Patriots have already beat the Bills in week 4, 31-17 in Buffalo. This game is at home. Last week, since it's been a while, was the Rams game, where we first saw Troy Brown on defense because the Patriots are so banged up in the defensive backfield that they're starting people who are named Earthwind Moreland and Randall Gay, who apparently was the starting nickelback at LSU last year.
I didn't know he was a rookie in this year, but yeah. He was around,
but he wasn't even like a starting corner for LSU. He was the nickelback in LSU. So he wasn't even like he's a depth guy in LSU and he's starting on the Patriots.
That the Bills could only muster 6 special teams points against this defensive backfield is
and it gets worse too. Like this, it gets worse. But yeah, and the last time the Patriots lost this, I think they're 23 of 24 wins in this stretch was
loss.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago they got their doors blown off in Pittsburgh on Halloween. But this was Monday night, which gives you the A team. I actually really like these guys. Mike Patrick, Joe Theismann, Paul McGuire.
You like these 3?
I do. And especially in this game, I don't know what it was.
I have a note here
Really?
Two of these douches are recently in the Hall of Fame. Yuck. They're not in the Hall of Fame for their commentating. That's for goddamn sure.
I'm gonna have to get you a Joe Theismann jersey, like you guys got me a what's his name jersey. They'll talk over each other. See, that's what
they're just pushing storylines instead of actually like commentating on the game. They're just being like, they don't actually say what's going on in front of you or make any commentary on that. That's why Tony Romo is good, because he's like live streams in his head about what's happening. These guys don't even pay attention to what goes on the field, and they're just talking about Tom Brady's determination.
It's true, but
and it's like third and 2, and they make a big stop, and he's so determined. He gets the last person to show up and the first person to leave. Oops, I mean the other way around. And just like, oh God, you're the worst.
Yes, but what was the score at that point when they started bringing it up? Because this game was a blowout like early.
It was the whole game.
It was 20-0 at halftime, and like it should have been. He felt like double there.
Brady Bledsoe, and then they cut to Susie Colbert, and she's laughing at his mistake.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And Susie Colbert too. Like I feel so bad for her, because part of the extracurriculars that were going on was that the Red Sox had recently won the World Series. And so they had a couple of Red Sox at the game and were like celebrating it. Like they brought the trophy and everything. And they had Kurt Schilling on crutches showing off the World Series.
Just got out of the hospital after the
exactly. After the surgery and everything. He's he's how far he's fallen. That sucks.
Oh, that was I haven't known. That was peak. That was his peak. Everything else from that moment downhill for Kurt.
Yeah, and he's
his peak.
Yeah, and he's
Monday
still digging.
Night TV appearance, and then it's all just.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He just fell the fuck off. And the other guy that was there was Johnny Damon too. And so, did you catch the interview? It was like towards it.
Dude, it was so bad.
Oh, it like. I couldn't tell if he was just like dumb or if he was drunk, but I have it here.
He was just drunk. He wasn't drunk. He was just dumb, and
I don't know. But listen, because he's almost slurring, but not quite. So let me.
Dude, imagine being his coworker and he's just droning on in the clubhouse. You're playing baseball. He's just talking without it. Like he went on for like 3 plays and still.
Oh my God, that's what I said. Yeah, he just wouldn't shut up. So it's fucking poor Susie Colbert. Mm-hmm. Always getting the drunks on the sideline on Monday night.
Red Sox outfielder Johnny Damon honored before the game. The Patriots won a Super Bowl before your season. What kind of motivation was that?
Oh, it's a huge motivation because they showed up to opening day a couple years ago, throwing out the first pitch, and they showed up again this year. And, those guys inspire us. I mean, they know how to play as a team, and that's exactly what we had to do to win a championship. So coming out here and supporting them, we'd do it any day. We think they're the greatest teams around, and they support us. We support them. It's New England's a very happy place right now.
With so much criticism these days of athletes and selfishness, and you mentioned team, and the Patriots are so much of that. How do you forge that?
Well, you have to look towards the team because that's exactly what wins you championships. I mean, look at Kurt Schilling going on a broken ankle. You don't want to see the pictures that he has. You have guys like Orlando Cabrera, David Roberts making that big stolen base. And, of course, we have the big guys, Ortiz and Manny. And
almost sounds drunk, right?
I mean, you have to look at this as a team. It's something very special. Keith Fall, Pedro. I mean, on and on and on. I mean, there's
on and on
15, 16 guys who
play number 2.
Could be MVP. And that's what makes a great team. So I'm very happy of what we accomplished. These fans of New England,
still going.
They're the best. And this is the best place in the world to play. And they've made me happy, and I know they've made our teammates very happy. And we are very happy that we got to bring a championship to them.
Congratulations. Right. Enjoy the offseason.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Do you see his face at the very end there? Go back like 10 seconds. Right when he finished, he looks up off camera. Like, what the fuck was that? Like, even
to them.
Look at that.
Rough.
He's like, there's 15, 16 guys. He named 9 of them, including himself.
Yeah. Oh, man, we'll save that so we can.
He's been happy like 3-5 times in a row.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, this is the best place to play. And then he immediately accepts it.
Well, I'm happy, and I hope the fans are happy, and the team is happy, and we like how happy they make us feel happy. So this is a happy place.
But now I'm going to the Yankees.
That's why Monday night also the worst. Terrible production. You couldn't see the down and distance on the score clock. You know, I was always
really?
down because I was watching it and doing something else.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought it was all right. I like it. I like the they have the Skycam, which is still
Sounds like
new.
You just have poor choice in commentators because those three guys are awful.
I think I'm just a connoisseur, so I can understand the finer points.
One point in the commentators' favor, I'll give them this one bone.
All right,
they're better than the Bills' defensive coordinator because they called the touchdown to Fourier. He's like, look at number 88. It's a place where they like to go to him. Corey Dillon's off the field. And sure enough, Tom Brady throws a play action to Christian Fourier for the touchdown. And they're like, oh, wow, great call, Joe. It's like, yeah, he knows it. What the hell are you doing? DC on the Bills, letting that guy go free.
God. Yeah, fucking brutal. Yeah, who was the coach on this team? Oh, this is Mike Mularkey. This is back in the day.
That's a bonehead Bills move.
Oh, yeah. But I thought the best part about the commentators in this was I think Paul McGuire was just having a bad day or something, but he was getting super snippy with the other two. Like they say something, he was like, no, that's wrong. Yeah, and then just let it hang. It was fucking beautiful.
It's awkward.
Yeah, that's the best part. I love the awkwardness of it.
No, I want good commentating.
It was
telling me things about the game that I don't already know. These guys don't even know the game.
Joe Theismann does. Joe Theismann was the original Tony Romo, dude.
No, Joe Theismann, also bad.
No.
And you can't even hear him because the other two guys are bitching about who's right, about if that was the right call or not 3 plays
That's true. To be fair, they were legitimately pissed off about the roughing the passer on Rodney for him.
Which nowadays, 100% rushing.
Oh, yeah, it definitely was. It was.
He hit him like doubter these days.
Just above the knees. It was awkward, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But his foot had stuck in the ground. That was a blown knee.
Yeah, so let's just talk about the scoring in this real quick. Patriot first quarter, nothing really happened. Pats kicked the field goal, no big deal. Then
there's a bunch of boneheaded Bills moves in the first quarter. What are you talking about?
All right, give them to me.
This is my new thing. Every time you play the Bills, they do a bunch of boneheaded things. And you just what are you doing?
You're building.
The first kick of the game, the returner catches it and runs in the end zone, and the refs are like, we'll start that at the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
Then they review it for 10 minutes.
And they had to challenge it. Yeah. The Bills had to challenge it to get it to be a touchback.
And it took them 10 minutes. So way to kill the momentum. Like, oh, it's Monday night, let's go. And then all right, first kickoff, we're gonna have a 10-minute review.
Yeah.
Oh, terrible. But why even put that on the board, Bills?
Right.
It's a boneheaded move.
It's stupid. And oh yeah, go ahead.
They get their first possession and they do a 24-yard punt to the 10-yard line.
That's true. Oh, well, even before that though, they tried to do a flea flicker, but the Patriots rushed so well that they were standing next to Drew Bledsoe when whoever it was, the running back, went to turn around and pitch it. So he's like, fuck it, and kept it and still ended up running for 10, 12 yards.
That was actually a good play by Willis. This was Willis McGahee's fourth start, I think.
It was. And his other 3 starts this season, he had all rushed for 100 yards.
And he was the guy who tore his ACL in college, right?
Yep. So this was his rookie season.
A year and a half after he was drafted. He must have sat out the whole first year, I feel like.
Something like that. Yeah. So this was his first time seeing the field.
After being a first round pick.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, so and then you're right. They drove to the New England 35 and punted. So good start.
It was like a 4th and 4 too. Your Bills, you always, Patriots a better team. Like the Titans, when we played them, they were going for it on 4th in the red zone a lot.
Yeah.
Putting extra pressure on the defense to see if they can convert. So
you have to, yeah.
Scare play calling, and then they punt it 24 yards to the 10, and immediately Corey Dillon gets the ball
and
falls
off.
over in the hole. No one touches him, and he rolls on the ground for the first down.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this game it felt like the Patriots driving up and down the field. They had a 2-1 advantage in time of possession. They just ran the ball at will because this is supposed to be a good Bills defense too. They had
the Bills defense was sort of like the Patriots defense of I don't care what you get between the 20s, but in the red zone, they were pretty good in the red zone.
Well, no, this year they were almost like this year's Patriots, where they were giving up 268 total yards per game, which is phenomenal. And then they gave up 273 in the first half of this one and over 400, which is the first time this Bills defense had given up 400 yards since 2 years ago against the Pats.
Yeah, but Vinatieri kicked a 20, a 24, and a 27-yard field goal. They did good in the red zone.
That's true. They did.
The defense kept them in it as best they could. They gave a bunch of yards.
And they were on the field for twice as long. Yeah,
and their offense was atrocious.
I don't think that's a strong enough word, Steve.
It was.
Let me give you this stat line. Drew Bledsoe's passing, 19 attempts, 8 completions, 76 yards, 3 interceptions, 2 sacks.
How many completions?
8. 8 of 19.
And he had 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah. And this is coming into this game
against Earthwind Moreland and Randall Gay. And Troy Brown playing a lot of corner snaps.
Yeah.
Their safeties were in there. Harrison, and he played especially well.
Mm-hmm.
And Eugene Wilson had an interception on a terrible ball by Drew.
Yep.
On a deep ball.
Yes. But
Harrison even dropped a clean pick six. That should.
He did.
This game could have been way out of hand.
This is what I'm saying. It should have been.
And he catches that pick six.
Yeah. Yeah. If you convert any one of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Vinatieri field goals for a touchdown, this game's over. But they only scored.
The game was already over.
Yeah, exactly. But it was even more over.
They didn't even get any offensive points.
No.
Not even from the 2-yard line.
Right. So, yeah, both Patriots touchdowns came in the second quarter. A couple of Brady touchdown passes. The one to Patton was nice because it took him a while to find him, but he was wide open.
Yeah.
And then the play action
one was a nice play. He fake block, almost fell down and got up and got the touchdown.
Yep. So that was nice. And those were sandwiched between a Brewski interception of Drew Bledsoe, which was the second one of the half, on top of the Eugene Wilson one you mentioned. Mm-hmm. And actually, it was the Patriots drove down, scored a touchdown with not a lot of time left, right around 2 minutes, and then Bledsoe immediately gets picked off 2 plays later. And so the Patriots have another 2-minute drive, and they go down and score another touchdown. And so now it was 6-0, and now it's 20-0 at halftime. This game's over. Fucking done.
It would always die. I mean,
yeah,
it was done before start. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, because in the third quarter, the Patriots started the field goal, and then nothing happens. Bunch of 3-and-outs until Buffalo returned the punt for a 7-yard touchdown. Went for a 2-point conversion, and that's the one that Rodney Harrison had the roughing the passer because he dove and hit Drew Bledsoe right above the knees, right on those thigh pads, and it looked awkward as well. That probably hurt because Bledsoe had to jump and his knees went back. It was awkward as fuck. So they got the call, and they went for a 2-point conversion again, and they still failed. Yeah, tried to run up the middle with Willis McGahee, and I think he lost 2 yards. It wasn't even close.
It wasn't close. Well,
so bad.
They crushed Willis McGahee. He must have been super hot coming in. He had 2.6 yards per carry.
Yeah, he was.
That's why Drew was so bad, because they shut down the run so effectively early that it was all him passing. I felt kind of bad. Again, I always feel bad for Drew in these games because he had no help from the run game, and it was on him.
And his guys were dropping, even if he did put the ball in their hands, they were dropping big plays, third and fourth down conversions were getting dropped, and it's just a typical poor Drew Bledsoe game. You're right. It wasn't a lot of it wasn't his fault, but then you turn around and all of the interceptions.
That bad one to the Eugene Wilson was a bad throw for sure.
Yeah, that may have been a miscommunication on the route too.
He just didn't even see Teddy Bruschi.
Yeah, didn't see Teddy Bruschi. And then the last one, this is what Greg was teasing in the last episode that I had forgotten about. But this is the Drewest of Drew Bledsoe, the Bledsoeist play, where he is picked off by none other than his former favorite receiver, Troy Brown, to start the fourth quarter.
He just couldn't help throwing it to him.
Couldn't.
It felt so natural.
Yeah, I recognize him.
How many completions has he thrown to Troy Brown in his career?
Oh, good question.
A ton, you know?
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Brown was drafted in like 97, 98.
Yeah, around then. Maybe a
when they
little
had
bit.
8 rounds, and Bledsoe was right around there too.
Yeah.
And Troy started to be established. By the time Brady came along, he was well established. That's awesome.
Yeah.
He probably played with Ben Coates.
Who, Troy?
Yeah, do you think?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think they overlap.
Bledsoe loved Ben Coates.
Yeah, let's see. Troy Brown.
I don't know who was the starting tight end on the Bills. They said his name at the beginning. I immediately forgot it because it was that forgettable.
Yeah, it was nobody worth.
There's no Ben Coates in Buffalo.
Troy Brown got drafted in 93.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah, he's been around for 93 to 2007. That's a hell of a career. So let's see. 93. Drew Bledsoe was the quarterback, backed up by Scott Sequels and Scott Zolak. The leading rusher was Leonard Russell with 1,000 yards. Let's see. The leading receiver was Ben Coates. 659 yards, 8 touchdowns. Because Ben Coates, 91 through 2000. So, yeah, they definitely overlapped.
You're never going to be able to figure out how many completions, but whatever it is, add at least one because Troy got another completion from Drew. And did you see his face and he's running off the field? That is the most hype I've ever seen Troy Brown ever.
He was
kind of a flatline guy, you know?
Yeah, no, that smile was just
light up the whole stadium.
Electric. Electric. Yep.
Maximum stoked. It was awesome.
Oh, it was so good. I love that.
When you put that highlight, make sure you capture his whole.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, the highlight goes for the full. Yeah, everything. It's top notch. It's like it's the epitome Troy Brown, too. Because he was just in the right spot, good coverage, and then it was a bad throw by Drew Bledsoe and just put it like right on Troy Brown's hands.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually returned it for a good like 15, 20 yards, too.
His nice number return. 80. Number 80 was covering number 80 because he was covering Eric Moulds too.
Yes, like exactly.
He was covering scrubs.
No, yeah, he was covering like a legit
Eric
receiver.
Moulds run he run like into the formation, then back out. He did like a pretty hard route to cover, and Troy just mirrored it.
He was in his back pocket the whole way through. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Really yeah. So I know this route. I've run this a million times.
All right, let's see. Okay, here you go. Drew Bledsoe, Troy Brown, 266 receptions. So call it 267.
7, yeah. Perfect.
There you go. Oh boy. Unfortunately, that was short-lived, that interception, because Brady was, I think it was maybe 2 plays later, was picked off by Nate Clemens. And this is where the rest of Bledsoe's offense kind of failed him because they were on like the Patriots 30 or something like that. They were like deep inside and then went for it on because they're down, 29-6 at this point, or 26-6. So they have to score touchdowns. Went for it on 3rd and 7, and a guy dropped it. Went for it on 4th and 7, and who was it? Lee Evans maybe made the catch, but like jumped up to make the catch and came down out of bounds, even though he didn't have to jump. And just like, so turnover and downs, and then that was it.
I skipped that part. I was like, Bills ain't gonna do nothing. Their offense sucks. And I look at the Patriots drive and it was all Corey Dillon, Kevin Falk, Corey Dillon,
Exactly. Yeah.
I know how this works. Vinatieri field goal from the Buffalo 20.
Exactly. Yeah. And then now we're officially in garbage time. The Bills bring in their savior for the future, JP Lossman, who they had just drafted out of, I don't know if I can remember.
First round out of Tulane.
That's what it was. Yep. And he was like mediocre at Tulane. He threw like 30 something touchdowns and like 17 interceptions or something like that. Yeah, okay. But yeah, Bledsoe just did not have a good day. 8 of 19, 76 yards and 3 interceptions.
What was their total yards?
Their total yards in this game. You wanna give me a ballpark? Give me a guess.
150.
Less.
Oh, that's tough because Corey Dillon ran for 151 yards. That was my barometer. I was like, did Corey Dillon outgame the whole team?
He did. By 26 yards. They had a total 125 yards total.
I guess Corey Dillon had 156 because he has 5 yards receiving as well.
They rushed for 50 yards and had 75 net passing yards if you factor in sacks and stuff.
Oof. Corey Dillon was a beast in this game.
Yeah. And he was so like,
good.
He kept getting,
he would get the edge and then like, wow, look at that big dude move.
And he would just turn up field and you could you could sense the fear in the defensive backs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then that safety coming over to try and hit him was not having a good day because Corey Dillon was
right. Well, they actually had a quote by Lawyer Malloy talking about coming into this game. He's like talking about Corey Dillon. He's like, us defensive backs, like when you go to tackle Corey Dillon, you have to want to hit him. Otherwise, you have no chance. Like, you have to want to do it. Otherwise, he's just going to run you over like you're not there. And that's exactly what happened.
He looks bigger than 6'1", 225. But at this point, that's an NFL linebacker.
Right. 6'1", 225. That's still 225 is a big boy. But yeah.
I feel like Harris is somewhere around there.
Probably.
They also look way bigger because they're wearing the big old shoulder pads back in the day. You know?
Yeah, they're huge. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Everybody looks way more massive. It's hilarious.
They do, yeah. Yeah, everybody's more streamlined nowadays.
It's like NFL Blitz. Couldn't you put in a code where you make the dude super massive?
Yeah. They were already still pretty massive even without the code, but yeah, that was a fucking great game. Just power bombing people after the play, so good.
Yep. JP Lossman's stat line: 1 for 2, 5 yards with an interception and a sack, which he dropped the ball in that sack too, right?
Yeah, he fumbled that, which was recovered by the Patriots. Yeah. Not a good day.
Well, he had as many passing yards as rush. He had 1 rush for 5 yards too.
Yes, so he had 10 total yards in his first ever. And the Patriots finished with 428 total yards against the Bills defense, who was averaging, what did I say, 230 yards?
Yeah, they ate him up.
268 per game.
Corey Dillon started running, and then they had no chance. And Brady was playing similar to what Mac Jones is doing now, where he's just hitting the play action.
Yep,
exactly. Into the quick guys and letting them run with it.
Yep, and the Bills had not given up a 100-yard rusher this season. That ended as well.
Big time.
Mainly because
by him outgained their offense by a significant margin.
Corey Dillon gained 42 yards on the first drive. Just fucking setting the tone.
Yeah, he was the best.
Yeah, it was great. Another stat that we'll save that. But yeah, this is a fucking crazy ass defensive backfield. There's just the names in here. No time, like, because your top 2 starting cornerbacks are out. Ty Law and Tyrone Poole, both out. Asante Samuel was kind of. I don't even think he was. They said he was starting, but I didn't see him. So you're starting Randall Gay, Earthwind Moreland, and Troy Brown as your 3 defensive backs, and the front 7 was just so good that it didn't matter. But I think we talked a bit about JP Lossman. His interception that he threw to Tully Banta-Cain. We had a Tully Banta-Cain sighting. He had a sack in this game and an interception. So, sign of things to come.
I guess a little bit, yeah.
Look him up real quick. I want to know how tall he is because he looked a whole lot shorter than anybody else on that field.
He was always looking short. I remember.
He was not a big dude. And he's always wearing 48 too. So he's not like a
weird number.
He's not a star. He's definitely a special teams first guy because he's in the 40s.
I mean, have we even had a number 48 since?
I don't know about 48.
He's 6'2", 250.
Jesus, so he's
5 pounds heavier than Corey Dillon and an inch taller.
Yeah, so he's bigger than Corey Dillon, and yet he's dwarfed by the rest of that defense.
He was a tiny little linebacker at that point. Those times, again, not right now.
Yeah, no,
that's a big NFL linebacker.
Yeah, but back then he was dwarfed by literally everybody else on that field. It was ridiculous. But yeah, so the interception was fantastic because JP Lossman rolls out. And he's supposed to be this like athletic-ish quarterback who, gunslinger, Brett Favre sort of thing. And he throws it probably 3 yards directly into Tully Banta-Cain's chest, who was also rolling out with him. Like, literally just threw it to him. 3 yards
I didn't see this interception, actually. I didn't watch the whole game because
it was so bad. It was unbelievably bad.
Well, now I'm interested. I'm going to go on to patsdynasty.com and watch that highlight.
Yeah, I'll make sure it's up there.
You should put it out there before we do these things, because sometimes, Greg doesn't watch any of these games.
Bro,
so you can actually watch the highlights. We're talking about as we talk about them.
Well, if there's not many, I will, but there was like 20 different highlights in this game. So they're still uploading as we're doing this. It takes a while. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, for how much they whooped them up.
Yeah. Yeah, there was
a
just
lot of highlights for it.
So many highlights. So many, like, just the big Corey Dillon runs. You had like a whole 4 or 5 separate 10+ yard runs where you're running over people and all sorts of stuff. Ridiculous. All right, what else we got in here?
I'm gonna do best and worst. Sounds like we're at the bottom here.
Yeah, I think I've touched on all my things here. So, your typical Bills game. Patriots running up the score, even without a defensive backfield. Yeah. All right. Give me your best and worst, Steve.
You go first. I always go first.
You want me to go first? Okay. I'm going to take all your best, though.
No, you're not. I got a million bests.
All right. There's a lot in this game that you can pick. I liked they were kind of like interviewing Tom Brady. They'd obviously done before the game, but like kept interspersing it. And one of the things was that they sprinkle in a couple of like interesting factoids. One of them was that his teammates call him Mr. Wonderful, which
that sounded corny as fuck.
Yeah, but I feel like I've seen that somewhere where like in his I don't know if it's like his Pro Football Reference. No, it's not in there. It's somewhere. Oh, Jesus. Because Pro Football Reference will have like the name, and then like in parentheses will have all the nicknames for the people. So, but I've seen the Mr. Wonderful somewhere.
It's like Susie Colbert was saying it, so I didn't trust it. I want to hear it out of Brady's mouth before I believe that.
That's fair. But I mean, it's something somebody called him. So
I called Tom Brady all sorts of things. So he just doesn't know it.
But here's the list of Tom Brady's current nicknames on Pro Football Reference.
Okay.
TB12, obviously. Tom Terrific. Touchdown Tom, which I don't really know. Goat. That one. Yeah. Which that's not really a nickname. He's just the greatest of all time.
I guess it's the GOAT, but all right.
Here's where it gets weird. The Pharaoh.
I don't remember that one.
I've never heard that one. Comeback Kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. That was kind of like an earlier one.
First started coming back a bunch. They called him that.
Or Sir.
Like SIR.
Yeah.
Never heard that one.
That's not a nickname. That's just like
salutation.
Yeah, exactly. That's just what you call. Yeah, I don't know. It's a sign of respect, maybe. Hello, sir.
I mean, I respect him, but I don't remember anyone calling him Sir Brady.
No.
I mean, I don't hate it.
It's not bad, Sir Brady.
Yeah.
The brave Sir Brady.
Yeah, if you call him Tom Brady, I'm like, no, it's actually Sir Brady.
Yeah.
Start correcting people, Andy.
No, I'm sorry. It's the Pharaoh.
According to ProFootballReference.com, he prefers to be called Sir. One of his officially recognized nicknames on ProFootballReference.com.
I'm sorry. He will always be Mr. Wonderful to me. But this, the other fun tidbit in this was that at this point in his career in 2004, he has more Super Bowl MVPs than he does Pro Bowls in his career, which is
interesting.
Kind of crazy to think about. Like he just,
I'm assuming he goes this year, so
you would have to think.
And he doesn't win Super Bowl MVP, so it evens up.
Maybe, yeah, we'll see.
We know who wins Super Bowl MVP, Andy.
Yeah, we don't know if he wins a Pro Bowl though.
I'm assuming he goes to Pro Bowl this year. They're the wagon.
It should have gone the first 2 years as well, but
first year he didn't come on until halfway. Did he go in 2001? I don't think he did.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think he did.
He went in what, 2003?
Yeah, because remember 2001, like there was a bunch of snubs because there was him and there was Troy Brown didn't make it in either. Even though he led the league.
He went in 2003, which makes sense.
Yeah.
And then he goes again in 2004. And then he goes again. I don't know how many fucking times the dude's been in the Pro Bowl now. Yeah, they're like, This is only his 5th year, and he's won 2 Super Bowl MVPs. It's like, bro, you guys got a long ride.
Yeah.
15 years and a shitload more of those.
Yeah, only 2 MVPs.
He starts winning them and giving away the cars.
Yeah, because he's
here, give it you.
Exactly, he's got no room for him anymore. My worst is, let's see. Oh, there's a lot we could do.
You have a lot of worsts.
Not for the Patriots. Actually, I'll give you one more best. They showed like an infographic thing of Bill Belichick's player profile, about what he looks for in players, because they were asking about that, and they pointed out that like athleticism didn't show up on that list. Like he just didn't talk about that, or skill at all.
They were like blowing themselves about it.
Yeah, but it was commitment to football, work ethic, intelligence, and team attitude, which is like so Belichick. Like that is his system, right? And
I guess you still got to be good.
Yeah, but I think you also have to be good at what they tell you to do more than be.
Yeah, you still have to actually be good,
particularly skilled. And then they showed like all the undrafted late round draft picks, like to tie into that of the offensive starters. And it was like this list was crazy. Troy Brown in the 8th round, David Givens in the 7th. Which, do those rounds even exist anymore? Your 8th round doesn't.
7 does.
All right. Joe Andruzzi, undrafted. Dan Copen, 5th round. Stephen Neal, undrafted. Brandon Gorin, 7th round. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 out of their 5 offensive line spots. Were either undrafted or 5+ round.
Do you see that thing recently about talking about Jakob Johnson being the 2nd most improved player Belichick's ever coached?
Really? I didn't see that.
After Stephen Neal.
Oh yeah. Well, Stephen Neal was
he's a wrestler.
Yeah, he was a wrestler. Right.
He didn't know dick about football.
Yeah. It's fucking bananas.
So it's cool that Belichick's like, yeah, he came a long time, and I guess Jakob Johnson as well, coming from Germany through that international thing.
Yeah.
Also didn't know dick about football, and now he's actually been turning it up recently.
He has, yeah. He's been playing really well. He's, I think, a big reason why the run game's working so well at the moment.
Which segues me into one of my, I guess, a best and a worst.
All right, give him to me.
I forgot how good Patrick Pass is. I feel like I've said this before, but
yeah,
for a fullback, he's awesome.
Yeah.
There's one Corey Dillon running play where he gets the corner and then to allow Corey Dillon at the edge, and the linebacker's like chasing them, and he almost cuts him, and then Patrick Pass cleans him up, pushes him out of bounds to let Corey Dillon go for another 15 yards.
Yeah.
And then on the punt return, he was a personal protector, and so he almost ran down the punt returner. And he dives and swipes at his ankles and just happens to miss,
Yes.
right there.
But he was the closest one of the whole thing, yeah.
He's a fullback though. He's running down a punt returner.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right near the goal line. He was flying.
Yep.
He's pretty quick for a fullback.
He was, wasn't he? Yeah.
And I think he gets no love,
No, he doesn't. I mean, fullbacks in general tend not to.
That's true. But I feel like Patriots fullbacks have been sort of cult heroes,
In New England, yeah.
This comes after this.
Good question.
Devlin was well loved.
Yep. Who was before him though?
Patrick
Devlin
Bass.
was great.
Patrick Bass was the fullback before Mark Edwards, right? Because we played against Mark Edwards in the Saints game or something like
that. Yes, I feel like there's been more though. I don't know. I know we're missing somebody in the middle.
Clearly get no respect.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
My buddy Patrick.
They get you a Patrick Pass.
That's a deep cut jersey, a Patrick Pass jersey.
This is what I'm saying.
It's a real deep cut.
Yep. Man, let's see. Here's the list of all running backs. Marion Butts, he was more of a running back. They split him up by fullback? They really don't.
This is why we need stat check Greg.
I know, right? Yeah. Patrick Pass is listed as a running back in this.
He was the fullback.
There's somewhere missing. They have Dan Klecko as a running back in here. That's the other thing. It wasn't just Patrick Pass playing fullback in this. It used to be Dan Klecko, and then they had Richard Seymour in at times.
Yeah, goal line stuff. Yeah, Patrick was a lighter fullback, I guess.
Yeah.
You also missed a little segment about when they're just talking about Tom Brady endlessly and pushing their storylines instead of watching the game. Did you hear it? I rewinded it and I couldn't understand what Susie said, but it was either Brady was a backup on an 0-7 or an 0-17 team?
0-7, I think it was.
It's got to be. There's no way they played 17 games in high school.
No. Yeah.
It sounded like she said 17. I was like, holy shit. But either way.
Yeah, that's bad. That's and yeah, he couldn't even start.
That must have been high school, I'm assuming.
Yes, it was high school, yeah.
Yep.
And then he was a backup in Michigan as well with all that stuff.
What a rise, though, from backup on your shit high school team to going for your back-to-back Super Bowl wins for like I don't know how many times. 8th time, 9th time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at this point, lost track.
All right, before I do my couple of bests and worse, did you see the mid-game highlights in this or from around the league?
Yes. Yeah. There was some good games.
You see that Joey Porter throwing punches pregame and getting kicked out from the game?
Yeah.
Highlight.
Fucking Browns Steelers games back in the day were legit.
And then I actually watched the end of it, like it was a post-game Patriots coverage, and their highlight of it, the dude was like, I thought the NHL was on strike. He's got a pretty good laugh. And I was like, finally, some good fucking commentating.
That's not bad, actually. Yeah, I'll give him that.
And then I sent Trevor a Snapchat of the Lions game where the Lions are down, was it 17-3 in the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
And Drummond, who was beast back then, returns 2 punts in the fourth quarter for touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think the first time anyone's returned 2 punts in a game for touchdowns, and he does them both in the fourth quarter to tie the game. And then David Gerard beats him in overtime with a touchdown.
That ties it. They still lose after all that. Fucking brutal.
He's got to be so mad.
Oh, man.
Desmond in a Drummond. That was what Chris Berman called him.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that was so typically Lions-esque, wasn't it? It was rough.
Worst was Sam Adams. He was a beast a little bit in this game, and there's one hit where he like legit lifted Brady off his feet and then with all that weight. Again, another foul nowadays.
That's true. Yeah, you got him blindside on one play.
I kind of blindside. I mean, it's hard to miss that guy coming.
Oh, you can feel him coming. That's the commentators said. You could feel the ground rumbling when he's on his way.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then the other worst / best was Teddy Briscoe, like nearly tore his ACL.
Yeah, that looked real bad. He got bent over backwards.
Like somehow miraculously doesn't, and he's walking off the field, like hobbling off. And he comes to the sideline and he sees Vrabel, and the camera still has like a close up on his face, and his face is like, holy shit.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, ooh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, definitely escaped. Escaped something real bad there. Dodged a big
bullet there. And I think that could have changed the trajectory of their whole season if Teddy Bruce, because their corners suck for sure, but their D line is beast. Teddy Bruschi is an awesome. My other best is his interception return, which I don't know if you have this highlight because they didn't even show a replay of it because they're such bad production values that they didn't even show another replay of the return. It was so silky smooth. He like catches it, almost runs in the receiver, ducks him, slips out of a couple tackles, gets like 30, 40 yards out of it. It was awesome.
Yeah, and then like looks like he's gonna get run out of bounds, but then like he jukes out one of the offensive linemen and gets another like 10, 15 yards.
Gives the old Ole.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, no, that'll be on the website too. That's uploading currently.
Good.
Like I said, a lot of plays. I try to grab all the defensive turnovers and sacks, and then offensive plays, like running plays over 10 yards, and then like deep passes and touchdowns.
You shouldn't get that crackback block that Eric Molds threw on Teddy Bruschi early in the game.
I don't do highlights of other teams. It's only Patriots.
It's crazy seeing plays that are blatantly illegal now.
Oh yeah, It's a little jarring, isn't it?
And the commentators are like about it.
Yeah. Oh, they're like, what a great fucking hit.
It's legit.
It's like that was Hines Ward.
Yeah. It looked like Hines Ward out there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, another dirty fucker.
I mean, it wasn't dirty if it was in the rules,
It's true. Yeah, it wasn't dirty then. It is now. Can't do that.
It definitely is now.
Now you got people praising Jacoby Myers for not throwing that block and just throwing a pick instead to let Kendrick Bourne score a touchdown. It's a different game these days.
Jacoby definitely could have cleaned that guy off his feet for sure. Actually, probably would have like block in the back. That's the thing about crackbacks. They're like almost there, you know?
Yeah. So, so you can actually watch this game on YouTube. This one's on YouTube. The link's on the website. But, I mean, this was a good game to kind of get you ready for Monday night this week, I think. Not that, or, you know, depending on how Monday night goes. Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking that when I said it. Yeah.
Well, Bills fans don't watch this game after Monday night.
Regardless.
Pats
fans, you know, it depending on how it goes, maybe you want to relive some more glory, or maybe you have some, maybe you just want to relive the glory for better or for worse.
Or just watch that second quarter. That's where the fun stuff is.
Yeah. Watch the second quarter and then the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter is great because it's a bunch of Bills turnovers. It's a great time.
Yeah, it's just them imploding.
Yeah.
And he had JP Lossman sighting. He throws a fumble and has an interception.
Yep.
Which is a harbinger of things to come.
And he was getting hyped up even by the commentators, talking about how he's the first round quarterback selected by the Bills since Jim Kelly. So he's like the second coming.
Yeah, first of fucking many, buddy.
Oops. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Won't be the last.
Yeah.
So that was 2004 week 10. A great game if you're a Pats fan.
What's next week?
Next week, the Patriots travel to Arrowhead Stadium to take on the Dick Vermeil Kansas City Chiefs. I know nothing about this game.
I know absolutely nothing about this game.
I've remembered most of these so far, but this one, couldn't tell you. Apparently Trent Green is a quarterback. Still not ringing any bells.
I feel like there's a bunch of big names in the Chiefs back then, so we'll see.
Yeah. Eddie Kennison, Tony Gonzalez, Dante Hall.
The other Chiefs game we did that went to overtime was electric.
Yeah, that was great. So we'll see how this one goes. I don't know. Yeah, I this is one of those games I have no memory of. This is great. I'm looking forward to finding out what this is about. So
guess we'll find out next time on.
Oh yes.
Tune in next week to see how much of a blubbering little bitch Greg is on the Patriots Dynasty podcast.
See, Greg's always joining us in spirit.
Always. Yeah. And so next week, we will hopefully have him on and he can give us some recap of how being at Orchard Park, New York was for this Monday night game.
Yes. Did they
but
bring
until then,
pallets for the mud field?
Yes, exactly. But until then, we will see you later.
See you later.